Hello everyone, my name is Ryan, and in this lesson we're going to be looking at CSS padding. In our previous lesson we looked at CSS borders, so you can see I've still got the borders in front of me. And now what we want to do is add some spacing between the content area, which is in this case for example the paragraph, and the border surrounding it. So if we go back to looking at our box model, you'll remember the content area is in the middle with its own width and height, and then our border, which we did last lesson. And now we're going to look at the way in which we can add the spacing between the border and the content area, which is known as padding. And padding can be set on all four sides of the box, including the top, the right, the bottom, and the left. This can be done individually or as a whole. So let us go and have a look at our code that we are using for this exercise. It's exactly the same as our previous code, except now I've just changed the heading and I'm linking to another CSS file called padding.css, which is currently got all my border style sheet code from the previous lesson. Okay, so let us switch over to W3 Schools and take a look at the section called Basic Box. And under there we have a subcategory of padding. So there's 5 different properties we can use for padding. The first one is the shorthand, which I tend to favor. Then we can set the individual paddings: padding dash bottom, padding dash left, padding dash right, and padding dash top. So let us go directly to using the shorthand, which is just padding by itself. And you'll notice that there are various ways in which you can specify padding. Firstly, we can specify just one number, which will set the same amount of padding on all 4 sides of the box. So let's try that first, because that's the easiest one to do. So I'm going to just have this up in front of me so we can see what happens as I make the changes. So let's start just with the paragraph and set the padding on all 4 sides to 10 pixels. Can you notice a huge improvement now? Let's make it much smaller, 2 pixels. That's okay, I guess, but it's still very close to the edge. So let's try maybe 4 pixels would be more acceptable. I would go for something much larger, for example 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. What would happen if we had to put 2 numbers as opposed to 4 numbers? So 2 numbers allow us to specify the top and bottom padding separate from the left and right padding. So the first number would be for the top and the bottom, the second number would be for the left and the right. Okay, so let us put 2 numbers. I'll put 20 and then 6. So you can see we've got 20 top and bottom, and we've only got 6 on the left and the right. Let's make that 10 on the left and the right. You can see it's increased the padding on the left and the right, but now the padding on top and bottom is still much larger. Another option is we can use 4 numbers. So 4 numbers go in a clockwise direction, starting from the top. So the first number would be the top, then the right, the bottom, and the left. So let's give that one a try. So let's say 5, let's say 10, let's say 9, let's say 6, and let's say 4. Okay, so this looks a little strange. On the top we have 5 pixels of padding. On the right hand side we have 10. On the bottom we have 6. And on the left we have 4. If I want to increase the left padding, let's say to 14, only the left changed. If I want to increase the top padding to 15, only the top changed. So this is very powerful, that you can set the different sides of the padding all in one statement. Of course, we could just set one side if we wanted by using padding dash top, or padding dash left, padding dash right, or padding dash bottom. So in this case we've now only set the top padding to 10. Let's try padding dash left. Only the left padding has been set. Okay, now I want to show you some effects that we can create by putting padding onto an image. So let me just switch off the borders on my paragraphs for now, and then let us just look at putting padding onto the images. Okay, that's quite an interesting effect because it creates like an artificial picture frame. We've now got a white gap between the picture and the border. That might not necessarily be white because it's just whatever the background color of the page is. So if I set the background color of the image to, let's say, yellow, you'll notice how that background color actually shines through the padding area. So you can create some very interesting effects with a combination of padding and background color. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the lesson on working with padding in CSS.